Three patients at St. Barnaby's died within half an hour of each other. All suspicious circumstances. 4 o'clock this morning. This came through from DCI Judy Brennan. You know her?
She hates me. Obviously got no suspects and they know it's a pressing nightmare.
All high dependency patients. Cause of death's heart failure, but the cause of death is up for grabs.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Well, the toxicology reports on the first two reveal 5 milligrams of digoxin. And since neither patient was prescribed digoxin, I think it's a bit shy to call suspicious circumstances. They were on different wards, so it wasn't opportunism. They were specifically targeted.
How do you know all this? What the hell time does he get up in the morning?
I watched the report on Breakfast News. And I rang a rang.
I think you just need to get laid. You might spend more time in bed, less time showing everyone else up.
Tell Brennan we'll take the case. Subject to Commander Enright's approval.
Can't we palm it off into Cass's team? I can't stand hospitals.
Cregan. Right. They're ready. Let's have a look.
Now, I know you're all going to write about crack teams and the elite working practices of the OSC and call all these people heroes, but I can assure you that no one here feels like that.
Speaking for himself, of course.
Those children were rescued by solid police technique, driven by a very high standard of information gathering. That's the point of this unit. We have to deal with this kind of stuff every day. So I'm glad you're all here to see where we hang out, but please try not to use adjectives like elite or special. Not least because it prejudices funding if the Home Office thinks we're all smart asses. Thank you.
There isn't any friction between us and regional police forces. It's because it's a new relationship. I don't know how you are with relationships, but in my experience, you have to give and take until you find your own pattern. One second.
Listen, well done. You deserve this more than any of us. I know it didn't turn out like you wanted, but you did a superb job.
Do you know what the coroner's verdict was on Hinks's death?
Put a copy of the report on your desk last night. You've recorded suicide.
I don't think that's the case.
Why not?
The bodies from St. Barnaby's are being examined in an hour, and I've got a journalist telling me we're involved in the investigation.
Only on your approval, sir.
Fine. Don't you think one of the team should be there?
Same cause of death as the first two. Heart failure induced by an abnormal presence of digoxin.
What were you photographing?
Oh, I saw it on the first. It could have been anything. Use the lens. It's a small patch of skin where the hair's been removed. It's fine body hair, so you have to look. Now, it could be a burn from a resuscitation paddle, but it's unlikely. They could have been shaved for some medical procedure. But if they have been, it's new to me. I really don't know until I've talked to the consultants. But it's on both the bodies in roughly the same place.
When will you finish the third one?
When I've had something to eat. You're welcome to join me.
They're all patients with the same consultant, Elizabeth Walker. Now, she manages this ward and the Mary Peters wing.
Has she been interviewed?
No, made a statement. And what she doesn't mention in it, and what she's famous for, is being an outspoken expert on the subject of euthanasia.
Was she on duty? Taking into account it takes digoxin 4 hours to do that kind of business, so that's... what's that?
Well, it's midnight. She was on duty until midnight.
And you're the consultant in charge of all these patients, yeah?
I'm probably one of 5 consultants in charge of any of these patients.
But they've all got your name above their beds.
You're not the only one being questioned.
Good.
Dr. Walker, in your personal opinion, were these people murdered?
I'm not a detective. I don't have that kind of judgment.
What are your current opinions on euthanasia, Dr. Walker?
The same as my old opinions on euthanasia, which you've obviously familiarized yourself with. So, what's the question?
Are some patients more valuable than others?
All doctors are capable of looking at 50 grand's worth of equipment, keeping a mixed grill warm and thinking what a waste. I'm rare in having diagnosed a man PVS, permanent vegetative state, who's now cleaning windows in Colchester. So the subject's complicated, Inspector. I've got a ward round. I'll be free again in a couple of hours.
What time did you come on duty?
Was that procedure supervised by another member of staff?
Sir, do you have any free access to the glass cabinet?
Would you be on your own while you're administering these?
You're not getting cramp? Looks like War and Peace.
Jim Tookie, staff nurse.
Carl Burgess, hygiene supervisor on high dependency, or ICU, depending on when you first started work here.
You're not on the list, Carl.
All right. I thought you were seeing all the staff.
Qualified staff.
That's fair enough. So I'll send the next one then, shall I?
Yeah, be a great idea.
Cregan, I know we haven't worked together long. You've moved me on. Changed the way I think about things. What I don't envy about you is your communication skill. You're crap. Gotta stop looking me out.
Okay.
I went to Hinks's house. I went to kill him.
Jesus, Cregan. Cregan, I'm sorry. No, you don't want to tell me this. Don't want to
I
hear
loaded
it.
the gun. I went to his house.
Shut up, Cregan. This isn't fair.
And when I got there, he was already dead. He'd murdered kids. I wanted him dead. And he was dead. Great. Not great. Piece of shit like Hinks turned me into something I thought I could never be.
So why are you the only one saying it wasn't suicide?
Because Hinks wasn't in possession of a conscience. He would never have topped himself because he never blamed himself.
Who are you saying did it?
I don't know. And I'm trying to work out whether they're weaker than me or stronger than me.
If this case is dragging you under, pull out. If the question is whether or not you can trust yourself, don't struggle with it. Trust me. I trust you. More than anyone I've ever worked with.
Weird guy at the interview, Carl Burgess. Was it Carl Burgess?
A hygienist or something.
Well, he's a cleaner. You should see him. Look at this. Last week, he should have had 2 days off. Both days he's accounted for in other people's statements. I've checked with personnel. He wasn't paid for that time. He wasn't even asked to go in. What do you think?
Well, I've done 2 months with 4.5 days off.
That's only because your wife's gone off sex.
Well, I can't wait for you to have a kid on the way.
Women I see have got less maternal instinct than a house brick. And Jonathan, people like you make yourselves poorly waiting for things to go wrong for people like me. Life's not like that, mate.
What is it?
I'm waiting for the results, but it looks like ink. And it's clearer on some than others, but it's on all of them.
There were bits of adhesive found at the edges. Yeah, same kind of stuff you find on sellotape, masking tape. It doesn't correspond to any medical procedure carried out on any of the victims. This is ink. Let me go. It's more traceable on some than others, but it was written on all of them. Probably stenciled from the back of a piece of sellotape.
80 staff worked directly on all the victims. If the message had been there for any length of time, surely that's worth commenting on, but nobody has.
It's not on any of the scene of crime photos.
Yeah, the message was always placed on the back. They were all coma patients. And it looks like the writing's been cleaned off.
But the only person who had physical access to all the bodies was Dr. Walker when she pronounced them dead.
My brain surgeon, heart surgeon, cuddly toy? Why haven't you asked to see my ID?
It's nothing to worry about. They're just being nosy.
Can he hear you?
Oh, if he's in a good mood.
Do you think you could have heard or seen anything that happened to you last night?
See if he likes you.
Gary, early hours of this morning, something happened to you. Did you see anything out of the ordinary? Anything out of the main routine?
One question at a time.
The first.
That means no. A forward answer could take about 15 minutes.
What happened to him? I'd ask you directly, Gary, but I'm under pressure here.
Cregan.
See what I mean?
Can I tell him? He fell off a roof on a stag night. His stag night. Didn't you, Gary?
Look, if things calm down a bit, can I come back later? I'll see you later, then.
Well, I wouldn't say no.
The neighbours either side are all virtually deaf. Cause or effect, I couldn't say.
Elizabeth, when you attended the deaths of any of these people, was there anything unusual about the bodies?
Except for the fact that they were all dead, no. No writing. What kind of writing?
That kind of writing.
This is a segment of a pressure mat taken from under the first victim, James Carthy. Can you see that? This map was replaced by night staff at 2 a.m. He died at 4:10 a.m. Now, you're the only member of staff who had individual access to that patient between then and when he was taken to the mortuary.
It also shows traces of alcohol. Did you clean that body before the police arrived, Elizabeth?
I'd be stupid to say anything without a lawyer present, wouldn't I?
Sorry, Gary. We're out of orange. It's got to be vanilla, and if you don't like it, tough shit. Your fiancé's coming tonight. And I don't want any more dirty words out of you on that computer, you hear me? You hear me?
Linda Mayer.
I'm representing Dr. Walker.
Follow me.
So what happened between the time of death and the removal of the body?
I cleaned the patient.
You deliberately erased the writing. Why?
I'd seen the writing before. It was the same writing that appeared under the arm of Constance Brewer before she died.
Constance Brewer?
A very old lady with, I don't know, a minute chance of survival. It was in the press. This time I was fighting against the family to keep her alive. I'd seen signs of brain activity, and I won the court case. I imagined this was them showing their dismay.
Where's Constance Brewer now?
She died a day later from, we thought, natural causes.
On record that the following information has been voluntarily surrendered by my client.
Carl Burgess? Me, yeah? You lot know how to get in the way. You got the staff here going apeshit.
Oh, why's that?
Coppers getting under your feet when people are trying to move expensive equipment about. No, it's all pretty fine-tuned round here, mate. No, it's a fact. There's a medical emergency every 15 minutes. No, they want telling.
Well, I don't actually work for them, mate, but, yeah, I'll certainly pass it on.
Look, I'm here in the supervisor's office. We could talk down there. I could do you a coffee if you want.
Best day where the boss can see me. You know what it's like.
Well, I am the boss, so you're divulging with the enemy there, mate.
Right. So, you never worked with Mary Peters wing?
No. Well, I say no. Sometimes, if we're short-staffed, I'll bail them out. Only if I'm in a good mood. Whoops. Old fruit in a soup. Mind your backside. I'll see you around.
It's backing up.
Looks like it's coming your way.
When was this?
The day after Constance Brewer died. That came directly to my home address.
Don't pretend to speak for people who want to move on. If all you do is waste time, money and resources dragging them back like medals for you, it's not in your gift to say whether they live or die, you stupid cow.
You've known since this patient died that it could have been murder?
No. I suspected that someone was glorying in my failure. That was all. Can I go home?
Dr. Walker, what exactly was written on the victims? Was it this?
No. Let me go back.
Sorry, need to look at these. Let me go back isn't about the victim's pain. It's the killer's. The last thing I want is a doctor.
Okay, what's going on? What's happened?
This isn't about murder.
Come on. Thank you.
They've all died before.
What are you talking about?
They've all died before. Let me go back. The killer's sending them back to where they've been before. Somewhere a lot more comfortable than this.
Cregan, we've got a crisis call from Dr. Walker.
To my knowledge, I've never done anything to anyone.
Dr. Walker, can we see the medical records of all the victims? Including Constance Brewer.
Has anyone died today?
Not so far. I've asked for blood screens on all my patients, but that could take forever.
Oh, we've got enough Home Office technicians to screen all your patients' blood every 2 to 3 hours. Is that enough time to act on a digoxin overdose?
Depends on the dose.
I know where you've been. David Cregan died 16th of the 6th, 95. All resuscitated. Look, when I was shot, I had chest surgery and cranial surgery. And I remember all kinds of things the surgeons said to each other. They said it was impossible, but I said it happened. They laughed. So I quoted the anaesthetist as saying, I hope he knows we're missing a much for him. The guy nearly passed out because I was unconscious. And they were digging a bullet at my brain at the time.
some kind of out-of-body experience.
At first. Then my heart stopped. I had to be resuscitated. I saw white light. And I knew that this was what my death looked like. Started moving towards it. People came by me and smiled. They really smiled. Because it was the most right place to be. I'd never felt so welcome anywhere.
You look scared.
It was the coming back that scared me.
So we're looking at an next patient.
I don't know. Someone who's been there before. Someone who thinks the victims would have chosen to die.
Krieger. There's a call for you. Rivers, yeah, put it through. We think it might be him. We're tracking it.
Krieger.
David Krieger.
What do you want?
David Krieger, born 23rd of March, 1964.
Yes.
Look at his face.
Whose face?
Look at his face and tell me he's not more peaceful. Tell me you're not jealous.
Whose face?
Come on, Gary.
260. Charging. Stand clear. Shock. Charging. Stand clear. Shock.
Died at 1:07 a.m. Inform the police. Yes, informed.
Mind you, I'd be obsessed if I looked like him.
So what sort of textbooks you remember?
Neurosurgical, intensive care, patient management.
Just medical.
Dr. Walker doesn't remember him asking. And I believe her when she said she'd never have consented. I mean, you want to talk to this guy? He's definitely... well, anybody who fantasizes about being a cleaner. Look at this shit.
Hang on. Cregan?
Control?
Can we get hold of Burgess's medical records? If it's him, he knew my date of birth. Wonder what else he knows.
irritating. I just wanted to check a few things with you, Carl.
It's 2:30. I've got my birthday. It's all a bit, you know. Can't you come back tomorrow?
Okay.
Thanks.
Been doing some unpaid overtime, Carl.
I don't know what you're talking about.
What have you been up to, Carl?
I've been here.
Yeah? Witnesses?
I live on my own.
No girlfriend. No surprise.
But you have got a girlfriend, haven't you, Carl? Dr. Walker, Lizzie's your girlfriend. Get this place searched inside out.
This is what Elizabeth Walker wears.
Bingo.
Get that lot dusted and bagged, ASAP.
Look at his face and tell me he's not more peaceful. Tell me you're not jealous.
Again.
Look at his face and tell me he's not more peaceful. Tell me you're not jealous. All this?
We say that, don't
We got it from your house.
Whereabouts?
Kitchen drawers.
Right. Which ones?
These ones.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's not mine. That's Pete's. He's a lodger. He's straight as a die, which you can take to mean boring. Only joking. And, yeah, he had nowhere to stay when he came down here, so yeah, he keeps around mine when he's in the area. He's a rep, medical rep, which, you know, a bit of a gold mine if you want the truth.
It's yours. Yours. It's yours. So where's Pete now?
Sorry?
Where's Pete now?
He took a job with Seba Geige. No, the Wellcome Foundation. You know, one of the big medical suppliers. You know, you get a new big car, relocation allowance, all that. He's West Midlands somewhere.
What do you think of the people you have to clean up after, Carl?
Meaning?
The patients.
Nothing.
What do you think Elizabeth Walker thinks of her patients?
Well, she's dedicated.
It's a printer of his medical data. It's thinner than mine. No resuscitation.
Too dedicated?
That. Yes, they're mine. Did you find them in his house?
She works hard, which gives you and Lizzie no time at all.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You know, Carl. For lunch, for dinner, for soccer, sex.
No, that's a different Lizzie. That's a girl I know. That's a totally different Lizzie.
So, if we showed her these belongings, Dr. Walker would say, no, they must belong to another Lizzie.
Don't. Please don't.
It's not him. Carl, you'll be served with a court order to stop you going within 2 miles of Elizabeth Walker. Do you understand?
I haven't even finished my assessment.
Look, the guy we're after knows what it's like to have died and come back. To have been dragged back. That's the whole point of the messages, the letters. Burgess hasn't any relevant history.
You can put him in all the right places at all the right times. What about the medical equipment?
All that stuff had been used before he nicked it. All he removed from the hospital was stuff that had been used by Elizabeth Walker.
Well, at least wait until we finish the voice analysis.
Waste of time, Jonathan. It's not him. Look, if we lock on to Burgess, we're wasting time, energy, everything.
I send him home. For what it's worth, he wouldn't be top of my list.
He's a liar, he's a thief, he's obsessive about the target, and he's the only member of staff that we can put into the frame. And he's on the streets. It's bloody ludicrous. If Cregan hadn't been there, Taylor would never have let that happen. And he's got form for violence. 1994, domestic assault on his mother. She dropped the charges.
I'll get Cregan.
No. We check it out first. And if Burgess needs pushing, we push.
Wait. I don't think he needs pushing like Ronald Hinks needed pushing.
Nobody's saying he does. Nobody's saying that at all.
You left the back door open, Carl.
How's your mum these days? Was it a broken wrist or arm? I can't remember.
She fell. She only blamed me because she didn't want me leaving home. She said that. She told the police that. Check.
How can you say that you're in love with Dr. Walker when you're leaving her in all this shit?
What shit?
Do you know what happens to her now?
No.
Do you care?
No.
What? Common denominator with all the victims is her. The single most important piece of evidence points to Dr. Walker. She was there when they died. She helped those people die. She murdered them.
She wouldn't do that. She's not like that.
Are you?
No.
So if it's not you, it has to be her.
Will she cope with prison, Carl?
She's innocent.
Will you write to her in prison? And tell her how you let her down?
She didn't do it!
You keep saying that, Carl. And we keep wondering how you're so sure about it. And I can't make my mind up whether you forgot to be normal or remembered to be screwy. You know?
Look at his face. 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 Tell me he's not more peaceful. Look at his face. Look at his face.
Look at his face. And tell me he's not more peaceful. Tell me you're not jealous.
That doesn't sound much like Burgess. Unless he's got his bollocks trapped in a door.
I think that's a big mistake. Either the hospital loses a very highly skilled practitioner, which in basic sums means they're going to lose a lot of patients, or we lose access to the killer. Walker's the source, she's the attraction.
It's not my choice, it's what Walker wants.
Talk her out of it.
I agree.
Cregan.
You could have gone back any time you liked.
Trace Cregan's fine.
What are you hanging around for?
Can you explain the question?
You died. You went where you belonged. But you came back because you were forced to. There hasn't been a single day when you didn't think that was a mistake.
You feel that?
You know I do.
What do you want?
Help. You just need some help.
How can I do that? What do you want me to do?
You need help like I need help.
Maybe you're right. What do you want me to do?
You'll find out.
You've got the voice. It's a female.
Do you have any idea who I am? Hmm? No, of course you wouldn't. Stuck-up bastard! Well, you will know me. I'll tell you, every doctor in this place will know who I am. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. Stuck-up ignorant bastards.
You have 3 messages. Message 1.
Message for Dave Cregan. Carmel from Video Shack. I rang yesterday. Should have brought 2 films back on Wednesday. Third man and delicatessen. Can you ring, please?
Message 2.
Message for D.I. Cregan from Criminal Intelligence. Can you ring Frank at extension 4134 when you're free?
Excuse me. Excuse me. Hey, what's your name? Wait.
Dave, it's me. The kids have asked if they can stay with you next weekend. Let me know if you're up to it, but I'll warn you now, Louise is talking about you buying bunk beds. Is that your idea or hers? Give me a ring. And if you want to go for a drink, we're around all weekend. Lots of love. Bye.
You know me now. Tell her I did it. Tell her to tell them that I did it. Bastards! She's innocent!
Move away from the patient.
She's innocent.
Put your hands where I can see them. Move. Come on, keep moving.
People are wrong. Places are wrong. Everywhere you turn, you disagree with about 70% of what goes on here. Here. I know you can hear me.
You can blink. Once for yes, nothing for no. I'm right, aren't I? Can you honestly say this was worth coming back for?